What's a 2025 trend or prediction for MOPS on?
I think there are two trends that I've noticed maybe over the last year or so, and I'm seeing it even now, like where I'm at. With the first is more of a focus on like product owner type roles within MOPS. I feel like a lot of times there's still like an admin role for Marketo, and then you still have like your campaign
Mhm.
ops and all of that. But I feel like I've been seeing more and more where there's a focus on having someone who's really dedicated to getting the most out of Marketo.
Mhm.
So I think that's something that will continue. And the second thing is I would say maybe with more of like a consolidation of tools. That's another trend, like whether it be like the big companies that go all in Adobe.
Mhm.
I know some may argue against that because I feel like at some of the recent conferences, there's also, those who are going away from that and doing like,
Best
less
of
of
breed.
the
Mhm.
one point solutions, but I do think it also matters on the size of the company. And I think at enterprise, a lot of them are more focused on the big, all in, how can we consolidate this
Yep.
and streamline it instead of having all these one point solutions plugged into tools like Marketo, for example.
I think ops roles are going to be hot again this year. I think,
Mm.
we went through a year of cutting a lot of marketing ops professionals. And, I think they tested out some consultants and some other things. I think this is going to be the year that we bring back roles in every level, in junior and senior levels. So I also think with the drive for AI, there's going to be positive downstream impacts to marketing automation platforms because
Mhm.
data cleansing is going to be a serious focus for a lot of organizations. And hopefully that work has actually started this year. I think there was a lot of conversations about how to get data ready for AI,
Mhm.
but the downstream impact is guess what? We're going to have a lot better personalization coming our way. So potentially
Mhm.
more investment and excitement coming out of our marketing automation programs and campaigns. I also think because of the focus on AI, composable stacks are going to become more of a thing. So right now, I
Mm.
think all of us have been really big into like your Salesforce stack or your HubSpot stack or blah blah blah. I really think getting customized programs sitting on top of these data hubs that will take care of your specific company needs. That was another big thing I heard about this year was composable marketing automation platforms. What does that look like? So could the future be not having to rely on these big guys, the big three, to take care of
Mhm.
marketing automation? Is it going to be more, build as you need with very specific touches? I think that's where we could be going. Could be very different, but very cool future.
So I think a trend that's going to be very popular is AI agents is going to be quite popular. I already see it in 11x, where there is a lot of different things that are happening with, like having um, your own AI agent be working for
Mm.
you for certain things, like making calls for you. Now, I think branding is going to be a little bit different because I was just working with us like a small e-commerce company, and they were doing like we have their own AI voice. Like now you have your own AI voice with your brand, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
branding is going to look a little bit different. I think there's going to be more AI elements, and integrating that with your brand is going to be very important. Then there's going to be AI agents that are also going to be infused with your brand tone, diction, and the way
Mhm.
your company sounds. Branding is going to be infused with AI agents, and I think that's going to be very popular. That's things I'm seeing now. And I feel like it's going to be very good for marketing ops and revenue ops individuals, because a
Mhm.
lot of minuscule things that like data normalization, a lot of summarizations, I think those are going to be quite easily done by AI. And data
Mhm.
documentation, I think documentation is going to be easily done by AI agents. And you're going to have to just do it one time, and then you're going to be able to
Mhm.
basically break it down, summarize it, having a canonical documentation is going to be very easy for each platform. So I'm creating documentation, I'm connecting different platforms, I'm using more AI agents with different
Mhm.
e-commerce, with legal, with different things. So I I'm projecting that because I'm doing that now and I'm setting up those different things for different companies. And I can definitely see that evolving with 2025. It's going to be more autonomous, I feel like. Think of AI as another product feature, and doing change management internally is going to be very important to get it into your company. You are now
Exactly.
remarketing and reframing and
Yes.
rebranding
Yes.
yourself as
Yes.
not a marketing ops, but as a product AI operations.
AI.
Mhm.
I think this will finally be the year, though, where it will go from hesitancy and exploration into truly starting to maximize the capabilities of AI within marketing operations. I think there's been a lot of hesitancy around it just because there's so much data and so much impact that something going wrong can
Mhm.
have. Um, but I think, you know, now that we're really getting deeper and deeper into AI, I think this is going to be the year where the tedious, the day-to-day, the manual stuff that marketing operations spends an enormous amount of time on will finally start to be handed over to AI in a way that's going to be reliable, repeatable, and really actually start to free up the marketing operations teams for the opportunities to be more strategic. We
Mhm.
always talk about how do we be more strategic? How do we get out of the day to day? And there's just so
Yeah.
much day to day. And I think this is going to be the year that AI really gives us the ability to elevate that. And I think that's something that I'm very, very excited about. I think we see it a lot in the innovation that is on the roadmap for the tools that many of us use, whether that's a Marketo or a HubSpot or whatever the case may be, these AI
Mhm.
tools that are hitting the roadmap that are designed to make that day-to-day work easier, it's
Mhm.
coming. And that's where I think marketing operations is going to be able to take that opportunity and seize it and be that more strategic partner because that bandwidth will be freed up. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in 2025.
My prediction or trend for 2025 is this idea that we're going to start to see a lot more uh, operationalizing generative AI, right? Like, so if we can, I'm already seeing kind of this trend across the board where people are going to start to utilize AI in processes as far as marketing operations, right? So, like, how can we build these big data models to do a lot of data standardization to get it into systems? How can we do some predictive
Mhm.
kind of insight in journeys, design and orchestration as it comes to inflection points of people within the buyer journey, and then push those kind of almost predictive analytics or predictive signals to sales teams and orgs across the board. So a lot of the things that we have to maybe build workflows for on the back end to get processes going, to kind of um, uh, increase conversion rates and hyper personalize are going to be probably operationalized through AI and modeling.
Mhm. Wow. So fancy and nerdy. That's a nerdy answer.
I am in the weeds of it right now, and I'm seeing how teams are kind of opening up to it. So I think it's definitely in the water.
I think most people will say that it's going to be AI, and I do think it will be AI.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's like how AI is really integrated into the MarTech stack. And so within MOPS, like if I own Marketo or Salesforce or any type of software application,
Mhm.
more so like how AI is being developed and like what the strategy is within those specific products. And so, for example, I think, like with outreach, right? Like you know, potentially AI can like start crafting emails for SDRs or kind of helping out with like grammatical errors or like suggesting like, you know, pieces of use cases or whatever like the messaging is related to content. And so I think a lot of AI is going to be integrated into the software. Um, but I think honestly, what is even more important is like how do we like prioritize and use that effectively? And so, for example, one big thing I think that will happen is I think MOPS teams will also be smaller of size because I feel like we could do more with what is kind of given to us. And maybe like data hygiene will be easier because AI could help us segment
Right.
data. Building automations and integrations, that will kind of be easier too. So I could also see AI kind of off-shifting not only headcount, but more so like low value, high effort tasks within
Right.
those.